we've got an oil leak on the Sportster, but we're not going to be working on the floor to correct it. Let me show you what I got planned. Phase one is complete on the motorcycle lift modification I'm doing here. Everything has been drilled, everything's been bolted on, and the next step, phase two, will be to put on decking. So adding a layer that's going to be completing the very top of this motorcycle lift. I'm not using a badminton racket during the build. My kids brought that in there. So I didn't have enough of these runners in my scrap pile, so I'm spacing them out the width of a 2x4, each one Each runner is spaced out. And I've been drilling these and not even thinking about it. This is a jack, I can lift it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring it off the ground to relieve my back there. Was bent down drilling like this instead of working a little bit higher. So. All right, so I've got some plywood on here now. This is a 1/4 inch thick plywood. My initial plan was to lay a sheet down and then come back and double over on it to make that a total of 1/2 inch thick plywood. Is that you? Hi. Hi. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi. Hi.
Hi. So I went with just a single sheet of plywood on the deck, and I think that's enough. I've been walking and standing on this thing pretty good. I think that'll hold up. If not, I'll go ahead and add the other 1/4 inch plywood onto it. But now I'm working on making a ramp. I might go with an aftermarket ramp because this just me putting scrap together. It doesn't feel, I mean, we'll see what it does. All it is a hasp from an old lock I had. And then some 2x4s, and then I just screwed all that together. Yeah, we'll see if it'll hold up. Before I put this on, or the motorcycle on it to test it out, I'm going to put on a wheel chock. So let me show you what that looks like. Going up, up, up. With your foot. All right, so wheel chock is on. It's sturdy-ish. Before I pull the motorcycle on here and see if it'll hold or it's catastrophic failure, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the garage because I have made a absolute mess, and I need some room to, run it up the ramp that I made. I think the ramp is gonna fail because that's pretty hokey, grabbing scrap and trying to put it together. At least my design was. So I probably will in the future buy an aftermarket ramp for that. I will. I'm gonna have to. And I'm gonna get some eye bolts probably today and pop them into the front just so that I can put a ratchet strap onto the motorcycle and attach it to a point on the lift. There is one on the lift right here, but I'd like it to be secured to the actual platform. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning up. And All right, we swept up a little bit and picked all the tools, so the ground's at least cleared up. I have zero confidence in that ramp. I'm sure I'm gonna have to buy an aftermarket one. So we'll get to that when we get to that. Whenever I wind up the bike to push it up on the ramp onto the platform, I don't think that the wheel chock is enough to stabilize it to keep it from falling over while I jack it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a spare tire jack. Let me go grab it. I'm going to use a spare tire jack and put it up underneath the middle of it, and that'll should support the center. Whenever I was building the platform, I actually put in an additional metal bar just about in the middle of the platform so that I do have a solid spot to jack up the motorcycle. So I'm going to get that situated. This is actually the jack that was underneath my Mini Cooper whenever somebody stole the catalytic converter. So we're using that again. So this is the, this is the villain's spare tire jack. We're going to repurpose it for a motorcycle jack. I've seen a couple guys on YouTube use these and they look like they work out pretty well. It's got a pretty cool socket style bolt on it, and that, or screw, so that you can actually put I think this is a 17 millimeter, but on the handle. So this is a nice little spare tire jack. I'm not glad that I got it, because I lost the catalytic converter from the motorcycle, or the Mini Cooper, but works pretty good and it should work out for me. Let's put that up underneath it after I get the motorcycle on there. So this is take one. So we'll see if it even holds up, and see if it's not a catastrophic failure or not. So here we go. All right, let's see what happens here. Running start. I could try to put the jack against the workbench so that it doesn't slide anywhere. I'm gonna try this again. This time the jack is braced against the workbench and not the garage. Oh yeah. Oh, get up there. Oh, we go. Yes. Was listening to see if the wood was gonna creak a lot. Just kind of just waiting for something to fail. Oh. All right, the motorcycle is on there. That's 500 plus pounds, probably 520. I'd say. I don't think it's less than 400, but it's on the platform. I can already see. This wasn't an idea I came up with. I saw a bunch of people on YouTube doing this. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the YouTuber's name, but I can leave a link to their video in the description maybe, if that's allowed by the community or whatever. But yeah, I didn't come up with the idea. I just saw it on YouTube and I thought I could do that too. Hey, I'm pretty pleased with how this all turned out. This is pretty nice. It does need a little bit of work. There's some areas that need to be addressed. One is the handle. You know, when I got this jack used, it didn't come with a handle, so I'll have to come up with something because I'm actually going down pretty low or grabbing the motorcycle to steer it. So a handle on the jack would be pretty nice. Paint, I would like to paint it and seal it because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of oil stains in the future on this platform. But it's nice. I mean, one pro I can think of is it does obviously get it higher than the jack was able to. I'm able to sit down in a comfortable spot, and I can go around the motorcycle, and I can get to most of the components on here. So that's a pro. And another pro is I was able to use all this with just scrap, just pieces laying around. I did have to buy plywood, and I did buy some 2x4s to make up that span. My initial plan on this was to make this 6 feet long, because I thought 6 feet was a pretty decent length for a platform. What I didn't take into account was the actual platform that the lift uses. So the little legs that I ended up chopping up, that actually added almost a full foot to the overall length of this. So this is right at about 7 feet and a half inch. So it's longer than I had planned, but it looks like it works out pretty well. Plenty of room in the back to put tools or anything like that. So that's a pro. Most of it was done with scrap metal. The cons here, I'm not able to dance it. It's not very mobile. I can't move it around as easily. I was able to address the angle a little bit. It looks like I'm bowing right in the middle here, so maybe a support in the future to the middle there to add a little bit more structure to it. I did have to buy a wheel chock too. So the wood and the plywood and the wheel chock. Scissor jack, a little spare tire that was free, so I was able to use that. Made the ramp, so we're going to buy a new ramp for it, or used, because this little wooden one that I got maybe 2 or 3 more of those heave hose up onto the platform, and it's going to break. But overall, I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased with how this all worked out. Get some eye bolts in the front here, and probably in the back as well. I kind of want to take the spare tire jack and widen it so that it has more surface area, so I can lift up the rear of the motorcycle to address the rear wheel, stuff like that. But yeah, overall pleased with it. If you liked what you saw here, okay, I wasn't recording any of that. All right, let's see. Hopefully you got some of that. I was just kind of rambling on, but it's nice. It's nice to have it up higher. I can sit down in a comfortable spot and clean it. So that's my next job. So since I've got that oil leak that I've been fighting for almost a decade now, just chasing it around. After the 1275 kit was installed, I noticed an even larger oil leak. So yay! I'll be now that it's lifted in a spot, I can go around it and I'll really clean it up. Make it almost immaculate, and then after that I will run it and then see where it's leaking at. I'm thinking push rod tubes at the base. I saw a little bit of oil pooling up on the casing there, so we'll see. But I appreciate you watching. Thanks. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment.